Is the speaker working? Yes, okay, great. Okay, Monica.
Hey everybody, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm at home with a sick baby. So,
Oh,
yeah,
bless
but
you.
it's okay. He's not that sick. It's just a little diarrhea. So,
They just want mom snuggles, like all the
Yeah.
like the things.
yeah, and right now he's actually out running with dad because I was like, I got meetings and stuff, so but they might be showing up soon. So, but he's in good spirits. It's just his little hiney's all red and
Oh,
yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, daycare was like, yeah, you gotta take him home. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
Poor thing.
All right, perfect. All right, so welcome. We have a guest. So Anne is going to be presenting today, and then Elizabeth. I will not be here, but I guess just because we're recording, I should introduce myself, right? I guess.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Nicole, co-chair of the Economic Development Group here for Homegrown Hillsborough. I also own Duke's Farm and Market and started a nonprofit called Access to Fresh.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Janine Grace. I'm a member of the working group, Economic Development Working Group, and I run a food blog and media company consulting firm called Cook Pray Slay, and also run a podcast called Cook the Garden, where we talk about anything from recipes and harvesting, from your garden to your plate, and also food justice and food accessibility and all that good stuff. So, yeah, nice to meet you.
And I'm Ann. I'm the guest speaker today, and I am the Chief Education Officer for PharmEd. So we are, and I will go way more into it momentarily, but we are doing agricultural education in K through 12 schools.
Nice.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, so I think you're actually up first, so that works out well, right? We don't have any.
Do you have any?
Online, Amanda with Hillsborough County. She's on here with her phone and normal. So, I don't know, Amanda, you want to introduce yourself at all?
Sure.
Thanks.
Oops, let's see if I can unmute. Yeah, so I apologize for taking up two spots on the call. I just have some major utility work going on today. So at home, I'm working from home. So I just didn't want to lose you just in case they cut one of the lines. I can still at least be on my phone's Wi-Fi capability. So anyway, I'm with Hillsborough County Economic Development. I've been working with Amanda Farah as far as the food desert projects and the local food economy group with USF, and just trying to figure out how Hillsborough County can better support the efforts here and what we can do to be a better resource for you. So here more as a onlooker and things like that, but happy to do what I can.
Share this for everyone. And then just let me know when you're going to change the slide.
Yeah, you're the best. So thank you guys for having us. I'm here on behalf of the whole PharmEd team. And the thing I will say over and over again is that the kids are always cuter than I am. So there's going to be lots of pictures of the kids because they're the stars of the show. My name is Ann. I'm our Chief Education Officer, like I already said. We at PharmEd, and there, do you mind changing this slide for me, Savannah? I'm so sorry. Yep. Nope.
On my side and then now the slide disappeared.
No worries, I'll just keep talking. So I'm a former educator. I came from the classroom. I spent 10 years in high school in particular. My background and my passion is project-based learning, real-world learning, work-based learning, right? All sorts of get your hands dirty. So for me, I joined PharmEd because what we're trying to do is show kids that agriculture can be a vessel to learn all these other great STEM skills, life skills, career skills, all of those great things. So what we're doing is providing a plug-and-play solution to classrooms, basically. I'm going to describe it, but I promise the picture helps in a second. So we have there you go.
Okay.
Oh, you're so close.
I'm trying to see what. Sorry. Okay.
No, don't be. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sharing this tab, but I want to share that. I know, I swear I've done this before. Oh, okay. This one is what I want to share.
High school, right? Just high school or K through?
K through 12.
There we
K through 12. Yep. So we have, there we go. That makes it better. So what we have is we have a controlled environment grow chamber, essentially, which is that giant refrigerator thing behind those lovely ladies. And our controlled environment system, we call it our grow chamber, is just a hydroponic garden at its most basic. However, it is collecting about 200,000 data points a day, and it's running an AI controlled recipe. So we are trying to use it as the tool, right, set the stage with agriculture and get kids excited about all the great things that come with it, right? We know that data is the future, no matter what they choose to study, right? And AI is constantly evolving and changing, and we want kids to see agriculture and all of its great components and all of the different pieces of their life, right? Our program provides the grow chamber, the data dashboard, a curriculum, professional development to teachers. So we have a whole ecosystem, maybe with no pun intended there, to our program as well, to make sure they are supported all the way through. Now, with Homegrown Hillsborough, we targeted some of our high school classrooms specifically. So our program does run K through 12. Savannah, if you would be kind enough to perfect. I sort of already said these things, but we provide the grow chamber, the curriculum, the dashboard access, and the professional development to teachers. Our program does run K through 12, but for our partnership with Homegrown Hillsborough in this particular opportunity, we targeted our high school friends. So thinking about that economic development, we looked at our high school friends who are starting to earn some of those industry credentials. So as we talk about that curriculum and that standard alignment for our high school classrooms, we align to something called the Agricultural Biotechnology Specialist Certification, which is a super mouthful. It is on the slide also. I'm sorry, Savannah, I'm jumping ahead. Can I skip one and then come back to this? Perfect. So we work with a partner entity called AEST. They are a certification body out of technically Polk County, but they are a subsidiary of the Florida Farm Bureau. And our high school learners earn the AEST Ag Biotech Specialist certification. So across the state of Florida, that exam has about a 51% pass rate, and our farm ed friends are passing at about a 90% pass rate, which is really fantastic. Yeah, we were blown away. We were aiming for 65%. Honestly, we were gonna go for 65, and we are thrilled. And then according to the Florida DOE, this is their statistic, not ours, but 64% of the learners who earn that certificate will then continue in ag-based programs. Can you go back one more? I'm so sorry. I went out of order. I'm so sorry. Perfect. So we were awarded state funding in the 24-25 school year, and we were able to install our program in 53 classrooms statewide. Of those 53, 26 of them are in Hillsborough County. We are a Hillsborough County-based organization. We are actually right around the corner over by UT as our home office. So we're right here. We're homegrown.
How many in Hillsborough?
26 classrooms, yes, ma'am. Yep. Yeah. So and this is just the high level look at where we are, right? Our furthest is a little bit north of Homestead, and our furthest south is a little bit north of Homestead, Florida. Our furthest north is north of Jacksonville. And so we do have a wide demographic across the state, but that condensedness, as you can see, is really in our Hillsborough Polk area. Yep, you're the best. Thank you so much. So what we are able to do with our funding is put our program into classrooms, but that didn't necessarily cover the cost of that certification exam through AEST. So what we were able to do with the Homegrown Hillsborough partnership is to take the grant money and sponsor 20 of our Hillsborough County students to take that AEST exam. So while we are able to get, 1,500 Hillsborough County students ready for that exam, the school or the entity still had to purchase the credits for them to sit for it. So what we did is we partnered with 3 of our high school teachers in Hillsborough County. 2 of them are at Armwood High School, and 1 of them is at Riverview High School. And we were able to purchase the AEST testing credits for them, in short.
Awesome.
So these are some of our indicators that we're measuring, right? We have about 1,100 students in Hillsborough County. We were able to sponsor those 20 certifications. And then we provide, just so you guys know, about 36 supplements and curriculum materials to help prepare them for that exam, in addition to the supplement of our program, right? I think that's the end. I think that's the last one. Yes. yes. So the only thing that I would add that Savannah knows, right, is that we don't have data on those students yet because they haven't sat for the exam yet, right? So our timeline was for today, right? So they will sit for that in the April-ish time frame to take the actual exam.
Oh, that's when the exam.
Correct, after their year of instruction.
Awesome. Great. I have a couple questions if that's okay.
Yeah, please lay it out.
So first of all, thank you. I think what you're doing is incredible. I love that idea of bringing a system into the classroom where the kids can actually see it. We've tried to do that with some tower gardens, just one-offs, and it does make a huge difference. So I love that. The plug and play system, is that something you guys designed or
We
you
did. It's our
contracted?
entity. Yep,
Okay.
it's our entity. Our founder he worked in partnership for the original design with Scott's Miracle Grow.
Okay.
He then bought the technology out from them, so we own the patent, we own the technology.
Wow.
It's ours.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
And what items are they growing in the systems?
That's a great question. So because of the accelerated conditions, they can do about 4 different grows throughout the course of the year. So we generally start them with a cucumber as a baseline.
Okay.
We then transition them to some sort of experiment or science-based activity. So they could do 6 heads of lettuce twice and do an experiment on photosynthesis. They can do 3 different types of herbs, 2 of each in that 6-pod deck, and then we don't tell them what they are and try to have them investigate based on the environment, the germination rate, right? Let's talk about all of these different pieces. Then we do a fruiting grow, whether that's a eggplant, a tomato, a sweet pepper, in their first year of study. And then after that, we try to give the teachers a little more autonomy in the choice. Pretty much anything that's self-pollinating and not a root vegetable we can support in the environment.
Okay.
Right. We just, by nature of like carrots don't do well hydroponically, for example, right? Like, things like that.
Okay.
But
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then do you have any schools in Pasco County?
I have one school in Pasco County, which is Dayspring.
Okay. The Academy Dayspring Academy. Do you know which Dayspring it is?
I can tell you that it's in 9th grade biology, but I don't remember what the name of the 9th grade campus is.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's probably, I think they're in Newport Richie, right?
They are.
Okay,
Yep,
okay, perfect.
correct, exactly.
Awesome. And then with the curriculum and the teachers essentially incorporated into the Ag in the Classroom type standards?
Just depends. So
Okay.
what we do is we work with the teacher to fit their needs. So our curriculum actually has a lot of different pathways based on what the teacher teaches. So for example, for our middle school friends, we actually fit it into their science standards. So we do it as a science tool, getting the ag exposure into your traditional physical science, life science, whatever the case may be. We even have some kids who run it in earth space science, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
There's a program, it's not ours, it's NASA's, it's called Grow Beyond Earth. It fits really well in together. A little plug for that in there. But yes, so in our middle school friends, we expose it to our science side.
Okay.
For our high school friends, we give them a choice. It's about 50-50 science or ag-based classrooms. For our science classrooms, we're tying our curriculum to ACT science. For our ag friends, we're tying to the ag biotech cert.
Very cool.
I have a question. Do you have any more?
No, you're good.
How do you pick the students? Like even for this program, you helped 20 students. How did you select those students?
We actually leave it at the teacher's discretion.
Got
So
it.
we as PharmEd do not collect any PII in general for our program across the state and other states. We do also have a program in Louisiana. We have some schools in North Carolina, some in Ohio. Our home base is obviously here, but we don't collect any student information. So what we do is we work with the teachers and give them basically the ability for us to communicate and say, okay, I have this batch of students that have self-studied, or I have this batch of students who have, retested. We do create and provide to them like a practice test, some sample resources, all tied to that certification. We have wonderful partners at AEST. They're phenomenal. Cannot say enough great things about them. So we have created some resources. We have some teachers who use it as like our practice materials as a guideline. Hey, this is now your personalized study plan, right? You missed this, this, and this. Or, hey, you've got 100, sit down and let's just take it now, right? So it just depends.
That makes sense. And they know their students like the best,
Correct,
so
right,
yeah,
yes.
that's great.
Anybody can write a really good essay to be like, I want this.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So as far as the schools, are they just a combination of like public schools?
They're all
private
public
schools?
or public charter.
Oh, perfect, nice.
Yeah. We do have, they're either public or public charter. We do have some private schools participating, but they participate on their own
Got it.
accord, volition, funding.
That makes sense.
Way to say that.
Yeah.
And what about like after school programs? Have you done anything with?
We are not currently doing anything with after school programs. We do have a partnership where we have an active grant, I should say, or an open grant with the Florida FFA to look and try to get some FFA chapters as well. We know that the biotechnology in general is an emerging field. The Department of Commerce just announced this past week that ag tech is going on the high wage, high demand list of careers, which is really exciting. So in other words, we're hopeful that it will trickle down and schools can get more funding to pursue those pathways for their students. But right now the coursework and the engagement in some of those courses doesn't necessarily align. So we're trying to work with the FFA to see if we could do some sort of after school collaboration or find some USDA funding to build, I'm going to call them pockets of time to do biotech.
Very awesome. And so the grant, so your program is contingent upon the grant, or is there?
The FFA partnership is, right?
Okay.
The expansion piece is. So
Okay.
we got a large installment from the state for these 53 in that first year. Those are self-sustaining. Those are now running themselves,
Okay.
right? We are hopeful to expand it and be able to include more schools and more classrooms, right? That would be our goal. That'd be fantastic. But we are dependent on state funding or grant funding, right? So expanding to those FFA chapters is this open USDA grant that we have, and a couple other pieces.
And does the chamber,
Mhm.
does it produce enough food to support?
We can't do the whole
Consumptions.
cafeteria. Consumption by students, yes, absolutely. So, again, the kids are way cuter and I have lots of cute pictures of them, but we just finished our cucumber grow, for example, and so they're doing pickles. So we have a lesson on like pH and acidity and
Nice.
making pickles and chemical and physical change and what are, right?
That is-
So they're having a really good time, like competing with their pickle recipes, right?
I
Like,
love it.
yes, they're
So
super
good.
into it, right?
That's
So,
awesome.
and I have lots of great pictures I can share, but so is there enough, a chamber will grow enough for what we say is 120 students or
Okay.
6 class periods is basically how we ballpark it. We ballpark at it about 6 class periods coming to about 120 students. Again, we're not able to, everybody wants to be like, can you feed the cafeteria? I'm so sorry, I cannot, right? I can't, but I'm trying my best, right? Like, you know, but that classroom, yes.
Nice.
Very cool. I love it. I think this program is amazing. I want to see it.
Yeah, if you guys want to come to any of our schools, let me know. We'll definitely do some site visits and yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Great.
Any online questions? No.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned the
Sorry, I was struggling to come off mute. No, I honestly don't have any questions, but this is really cool, and I'm really glad, Anne, that you were able to come in and meet the group. And I think we talk a lot about like a pipeline for careers, and I especially, I don't know if I've said it lately, but one of my things that I think we should start thinking about is we need more farmers, and so I think that this is a really great pipeline to expose students to that, and hopefully through Homegrown Hillsborough and other initiatives, maybe Amanda can help us. We can start accessing some county land in order to be able to get them set up for success, and then they can source to school cafeterias and all of that. So I think it's a really, really great first step, and and hope that we can kind of continue to grow together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you mentioned the NASA project. So really interesting. Chip, who was on, so Chip Carter has a show called Where the Food Comes From, and he announced that he's doing a show on how they grow food in space. And he's ag in the classroom, so that might be something to kind of incorporate with what you're doing in that chamber with that as well. And for the little kids, we're launching a book called, it hasn't fully launched yet, but we're in development for a book on, like a children's book on growing food in space, and then taking the space seeds and planting them on our farm. So Farmer London gets space seeds from Chip is the storyline. So, but something to kind of incorporate within that ag in the classroom with those teachers, because he's a great partner for us. And then I think that show will be really incredible for your students to see. So
Thank you so much.
it's really, really cool. But I love it. I'm so excited to get to meet you. I will reach out after as well, like sidebar, to just connect, because a lot of what we're trying to do is education. And so how we can support getting more of this program into more schools.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking, in particular, as is everyone, right? But we're always looking for grant funding, unique ways to like work with schools. So yeah, definitely.
And one last question. So like Monica mentioned, looking to maybe secure land to grow outside. Are the kids doing any outside growing in kind of conjunction with the systems?
We don't sponsor it. However, most of our students end up in some sort of parallel, right? Either let's taste a store-bought, let's put a garden outside, right? Let's try this, the other. The exception I would say is like our Ohio schools, for example, where it's not necessarily climate appropriate to match all year round, right? Our Florida friends really have that advantage.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of like Sprouts has a school garden grant, for example. And so we do a lot of partnership with schools where they're like, okay, we're doing our Sprouts garden, so we'll just plant the same seeds, right? So we'll provide like, for example, if we're doing cucumbers, we'll provide the same seeds to them to do the outdoor garden, right? Not that necessarily we can support or build that outdoor garden for them. However, right, then they do a lot of comparisons of like rate of growth, conditions, variables, right? We talk a lot about, how come we can get all this great perfect data? Why can't you get that perfect data from outside, right? What does that look, sound, feel like? All of those pieces.
Oh, that's amazing.
Awesome. I love what I get to do.
Congratulations.
We can tell.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry if I'm talking too much.
No.
You could just tell your enthusiasm for it, and it gets us excited about it too. So yeah.
I will leave my contact information. Savannah has it all too, right?
Are you on the platform as well?
I am.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Very cool.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
To stay the whole meeting.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you.
We'll be in touch.
Please do. I'm
Yes.
so excited. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Here, come on, you can have my agenda and everything. Yep. Good luck.
Bye.
Thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks,
Take
Anna.
care.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Alright, so I'm gonna actually set up work at this so I can get. I was just trying to like, everybody you can move on.
Okay, cool. All right. So, do we have any other old business from the? I should have brought. I don't have my computer to look
I
at.
think that maybe I did kind of want to do. We want to do a little reflection from the
Absolutely.
the conference. Yeah. So if you guys have any like feedback for us or any thoughts in general that we can take for our next year's conference committee, we'd love to hear them. Just any reflections or anything you want to share.
You want to start on?
You go ahead. I started with all the questions.
That's okay. We can share it. Well, I'll just have to say I just attended the conference piece of it, just the main day. And for the most part, like I thought it was really valuable. Learned a lot, met a lot of people. I think for me, the speakers were great, but for me, what the biggest value was having just FaceTime with other people, just a chance to really kind of like engage and talk to people. So that networking time for me was critical.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think it was, as far as like the topics and everything, I think it was great. Lots of just learning. So yeah, good job. I mean, you guys did a great job. I know you put it together like really quickly. So, and that venue was amazing. I've never been. That was my first time. I'm like, it was really, really top notch. Everything was really good. So, yeah.
Do you want to go next?
Oh, yeah, I had a very great experience. I met some wonderful people that working with us. My biggest takeaway from it, I was able to meet some people that it's a lot easier. It was a lot easier for me because I don't be on the platform a lot. So to kind of meet people and kind of understand what is it you do. You get a real sense of their energy and whether you're compatible to work together. And I was able to find some good connections, people I was, responsible right away, like, hey, let's get down to it, let's work. So that was good.
Yeah, I loved it. I think the group, the variety of people that were there, everything from students to, community members, and it just, the different organizations that were represented was incredible. And it was kind of like seeing old family and friends, right? Like, so some people who maybe aren't as active in the Homegrown Hillsborough, like I think of David Whitwam, right? And like being able to like connect back with him. And I haven't seen him in probably 4 years, and just be able to really, like you said, reconnect and then connect with additional people. I loved how many students were there. I think that was pretty great too, because that's that
Yeah,
next
I
level,
agree.
and they're getting excited about that. I thought the keynote was awesome. It was inspiring because it's like right here in town, right? So I think that was a really cool highlight of what can be done through collaborative partnerships, especially within the food as medicine space. So I thought it was very relevant and timely, especially with what happened yesterday, right? So we saw a lot of shifts in Washington yesterday. So having that information, partners are probably like their wheels are turning because they saw that. I love the breakout sessions too. I thought the breakout sessions hit a variety of different things. So no matter where you were in your food system journey, you had something that was going to provide a lot of value. The only piece of like, I guess, improvement feedback with lunch was super heavy. So I feel like it was just this like of like energy. And I know we started late the second round because of the line. So for the venue, not even for you guys, like the double side, right?
Yes.
Like I was like,
that's
yeah. So that was it. I mean,
Yeah.
that was. I mean, it's so minimal.
yeah.
But I did all 3 days. Yeah, it was really heavy. Like it was just like the only option if you weren't like in the vegan or gluten free was like a very like the basic Caesar salad, and everything else was like hamburgers and like yeah. So just just a light option, maybe a little bit more veggies. I thought the night before the prosciutto, like all of that stuff would have been a little, so that was the only thing I noticed with but the event the night before I thought was great for networking too. It was just very casual. It was fun. And I love the tours. The port tour was phenomenal because I've done one with like the Starship and the homeschool group, but to have that perspective of the imports and the massive amount of produce that's moved through the port of Tampa was very cool. And to have like the high level players there too, right? So we weren't just we were talking to the vice president of the port, right?
Wow.
So thank you, Monica. I know you probably helped and did all of that, but I thought it was the whole thing start to finish was fun. It was very well organized. I know you guys were a little like, it's not as best flowing, but if you didn't know it, it was flow. I thought everything flowed perfectly all 3 days. You did such a great job. But yeah, that was, yeah. And I love the entertainment, right? And I thought we do that. You've done that before where when we're on the bus, it's not just kind of stagnant, quiet time. It's learning and engaging as well. So that was huge. That was great.
Thank you. That's good. We just want to always get feedback, so we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
it was. Yeah, there's some. Perfect. All right.
Get back to our acre stuff. So planning for January, we want to. So the kind of thing that we're gonna. Oh no, I'm screen. It's just over here. Is the wrong screen. Hold on. Let me stop sharing. So what we need in January, what we want to like have is a like mostly complete work plan for this Acre Summit. But we might need to like fill things in on it. So like we need kind of like the initiatives and the objectives, action items. Those should kind of be pretty ready to go, and then maybe at the summit we kind of figure out who's responsible for this and the timeframes, and then maybe even some more feedback on these other things. Let me make this bigger for you. And then, so what we kind of want to work on today is filling this in with your economic development goals that you created at the beginning of the working group.
Okay.
And then we also want to kind of talk about our recruitment plan, how we're going to get people to the summit in January, and we'll also ask that you have a slideshow prepared for the summit so that you can present to the group and tell them what you're kind of present what's going on here, to say like this is what we're trying to do and we need you to help us if you want to help us join this.
So each working group is going to present this. It's not just a holistic working group for the 2 main goals that we had talked about, like improving the attendance and then the mini grant or the larger grant funding.
Yes.
Okay, so our group will be presenting on the economic development and our goals. Okay.
Yeah, so I can pull those up too.
That'd be great.
So you have those. Let me see them. Okay, so, and if you think that this, I think this isn't no, this way, okay. Your more specific goals here. And if you want to kind of adjust these, we can do that too. Like if you think that this was like 20 partners that produce food. And,
yeah, I think we want to definitely, we talked about reducing that, right? So even just having conversations at the platform, at the summit. I think 20 is going to be way too many to incorporate. So even if we really focus on, I think 5, and the reason why I say that is because then you're going to have a bigger impact within those 5. It'll be easier to gather data, feedback, get them together, plan with them. 20 sounds great, but I think that realistically, we probably have about 5 within the network that if we said, hey, can you grow more? They're like, yes, we're on it, we can. And I know 2 are ready, right? So you have Dee and Georgia that are ready to do that, right? Or already producing and kind of moving into that.
So do we want to call this one what does it say? Like improving, increasing sales. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Sales for 5 local producers. Maybe this is the goal and producers. Let me put this there. I was like the way that this came from like the Acre notebook.
Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to what makes the most sense. So I'll just say increase sales, and we'll say the goal is to increase sales for 5 local producers by 20%. Is that what it said?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
By 20%.
And I guess we should define which growing season too,
Okay.
right? So if we're looking at, I would say maybe the spring growing season, because then we could have the January, February, March, right? And then, because we really would have to have them getting stuff in the ground by February, right? Which would give us, so I'd say, spring 2026 growing season.
And for our objectives for this initiative, how are we gonna?
So we gotta identify the growers.
Good start.
And then we have to identify locations that we're gonna have them.
Locations for them to sell.
Yes. Yeah. Data and measurement. I don't know if that's getting, but
That's gauging their financials, or because we would need to be able to, or they would have to be able to show an increase of 20%.
Right.
So maybe identifying a baseline.
Our baseline tracking system.
Yeah.
Or how are we going to track it? So that's
Right.
the objective.
Baseline tracking system.
They've identified a lot.
Actually, I think the way that this is set up is this is an objective, and then down here, this is
Got
the
it.
second one,
Yeah.
and then that's the third one. So
Got it.
do this one. And then we can do more.
So I guess the objective isn't to identify, the objective is to connect them to locations, right? Because we'll be identifying the locations, but we really will be connecting them.
Connecting. Yeah.
So
That makes sense. Yep.
To sales location, and then the action item would be identifying them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say sales location, could that be would that be a restaurant? Or
Restaurant, corner store.
Okay, got it.
Mobile markets. Yeah, so a farmer's market, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a market that they're not in, and then I think that the other objective is, or maybe an action item, is really understanding what they're already growing and then what their capabilities are. Because if they're all only growing kale, then they're gonna be in competition for each other. But if someone has, exactly. If someone has beans and somebody else is doing great with tomatoes, so I think that's another action item, is connecting with the grower, but then getting their crop plans and expected yields based on previous years, or they might not even have it, right?
Yeah.
So, which is would be great because then we'll be kind of starting baseline.
Formatting is gonna make me insane. Okay. So I think that's connecting growers to sales locations, but the action item part to identify the growers, identify the sales locations, and understanding what their capabilities are.
Mhm.
And that kind of covers this part.
Yep.
What about the like actual connection? Like set a meeting to talk, something like that.
Yeah, so action items would be after we identify where we're gonna, so maybe under just identify sales locations, set meetings, set meetings for like
Introduction.
introduction
Or a
and
kickoff meeting,
yeah,
introduction meeting,
kickoff
yeah.
and kickoff and connection.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So then we want to, okay, wait, so that was we did our, so we have the location.
So
Yeah, find locations, we have that down here too.
So the other objective would be increase sales by 20%, right? So we don't want to just connect with the objective one is to get them to a location. Then the next objective is to increase their sales, right? So does that, but I guess that's under the goal. Yep.
That's
So
the
it's,
goal,
yeah. So it's,
Then yeah,
Yep.
how do we get them to increase the
Yep.
sales? So are we working with them on marketing? Are we,
yeah, and those would be the action items, right? Marketing,
so do you want to say something more specific?
Tracking.
Are we providing them marketing stuff? Are we guiding them? Are we just making suggestions? Like how are we advising them?
yeah, maybe like learn what they're doing and then advise them.
Yeah, that's
We have
my
the
wheelhouse.
experts.
That's my
We have-
wheelhouse. So, yeah, we can provide resources and
Feedback. Marketing
Yep.
strategies.
maybe even, I know a lot of people ask me, hey, can you do like an audit? Like, can you audit my website? So maybe something like that
Yeah.
where we do like an initial, okay,
Yeah.
where are you in your marketing journey?
Yes.
You know,
Love that.
type thing. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we're gonna help them increase sales.
Yeah.
Now, are they increasing sales from what they have before this period, or are they increasing sales from starting this program to finishing this program?
So that's a good question.
Yes, you wanna ask me?
Yes, I was thinking about the marketing
Mhm.
aspect. With that, in order to increase sales by 20%, right? Is there like a way that we can have like a person that's dedicated or just marketing that is paid to kind of like go through each organization and say, hey, look, this how I can help you out, this how I can help you out. And why I ask is because, starting up and then trying to increase sales, it requires an investment. All right. And then when you ask someone to help and they're not paid for it, you're going to get free work. Right. Versus having someone that's paid, that know what their objectives are, and this is what your assignment is, how you can help, rather than saying, hey, when I volunteer, go in and do this, you're not gonna. But if your goal is to increase by 20%, you want to invest to make sure that we can.
And so this is kind of this some finalizing this work plan is gonna also help us determine what kind of funding each working group is gonna get in the next year. So if you guys kind of say that you need this type of budget for something like this, potentially that could be something. I wouldn't say a full-time person, but definitely like if that is something that you guys want to use to spend your money, or if someone at the acre, someone wants to volunteer to do it, that's something else. But we also want to value people's time. So that's kind of up to the group to kind of determine what kind of funding do you need to reach these goals. And that's kind of how that's me part of how we kind of determine the funding that's going to be allotted per group.
And I think that maybe that's one of the questions we asked during the summit is about the sales, right? Is it 20% above what, like, or we can talk about it here. Is it 20% above what they did like last year? Are we using last year's season? Or are we looking at, we're going to start with, sorry, someone from UF is calling me.
Go for it.
Real quick? Yeah.
So, I mean, I can give you my take of kind of piggybacking off what she was saying is that I think the value to doing something like 20% increase from the year before is because then you can at least track they can track their performance, like they have some historical data to say, like
Move this area.
exactly. Yeah. And you can kind of like see the trends from last year compared to this year. So that would be my only,
Are you saying like,
thing.
and if they have zero data from the past years, are we gonna say that like 20% of zero?
Hey, I met that goal already.
And I'm sure there might be people who maybe just don't have data yet,
Yeah.
So, and that's okay, but maybe
Mhm.
we'll just have to find a way to kind of say,
Yeah.
what is that? So, based on past year. Although I would say maybe we do want people who sold previously to be our kind of.
I was just gonna say, if that's the case, then we do probably have to set some criteria for that, unless we reword that goal to make it,
I'll leave out people like me that
Yes,
don't have data.
exactly.
What about fresh ideas, fresh?
That's right.
Are you growing stuff?
Oh, no.
Okay, I was like, we're gonna help you. Okay. I was like,
He's just thinking of like people,
yeah.
who are new or just coming in.
Exactly, and like we probably don't want to count them out.
Right.
So that's why I want to ask, like, 20% of zero is zero, but what we can maybe find, and I think having 5 people, whoever they are, that's pretty much going to be it. It's not. I don't think we're going to get to be too choosy on which 5 people.
Right.
So we can kind of figure out a way to start their measurement.
Yeah.
And really, maybe anything is a success. If they're selling something, that's an increase by, so whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's.
But I would like to make sure that we're inclusive, like, don't leave anyone out. But
Yeah.
I kind of finished I don't know if it was your thought, but I was saying, as far as like measurement wise, the value to kind of, comparing to the year before is that they have some historical data to go off of.
Yeah.
But that's the assumption that they have that data. Like,
Right.
He brought up, like, what if it's somebody new who's just starting off? And I'm like, well, you haven't increased out the gates. So,
And we're meeting that goal.
we're meeting that goal, honey. So, but
This is what we need is funding.
yeah. So that was just my thought.
I
Do
think
you have
that-
a different.
No, I think that using if their baseline is 0 and we increase it to 200, right? And then we create that partnership that now allows them to grow that $200, we'll say a week, whatever that looks like, for a local grower, for a local business. I think as I'm stepping back and talking about this, I think one of the things that we have to also identify as an objective is like identify roadblocks that may, like, licensing or objective is like,
Really good.
so what are there roadblocks to us just from a food safety standpoint, right? Like, what are there going to be any roadblocks for us to source from D and put it into a juice company that we talked about in like downtown, right? So I don't know if that will be just an objective or.
Should we put that earlier? Like, should that be? I don't know. Monica has her hand raised. Maybe she has a. comment.
Yes.
Oh, no, well, I was gonna say, I think a potential barrier might be like certifications that retail outlets might require. So like I think what comes to mind is like GAP certification, good agriculture practices.
Yep.
And so and I don't think that GAP is mandated. I think it's a industry best practice. Yeah, Nicole, you probably know more about this.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, but certain retailers, like, and those are going to be mainly your bigger ones, right? Because the state of Florida doesn't have like the requirement. Like, we can grow food and sell it directly.
Yeah.
So that could be if we try to get with a CCOs, like if we try to get with like they might, but that could be
or like a
something we look
Gonsmart.
into.
Yeah. But
so we can look into that.
I think that maybe it's not, I don't know. To me, GAP certification is worth it. And I do think it's going to be like all regulations, it's going to take a little for us to be able to get used to it and speak the language. I think in the not too distant future, it'll just be like something that we all know. And I bet you Meacham largely abides by GAP practices,
Yep.
even if they're not certified. And so that might be something that if it is a roadblock, maybe like hosting a workshop or session. And I bet extension agents, there's an extension agent in the state that is a GAP
And
certified.
if not, I have a connection. His name's Jake Bowman.
Oh, cool.
Follow him on LinkedIn if you're not. But he's doing a ton of work with the cost constraints around small farmers getting GAP certification and maintaining it. So, and I'm sure we could work with him to do a class as well if US does not have someone teaching that. And I think the other roadblock is like the transportation, right? So identifying how we're going to get it from the, like, are we going to put it on the grower to harvest, deliver, bill, follow up, or are we going to provide a resource with some of that potential grant money that they have a person that now can be that marketing admin type, because it's gonna cause extra work for them, because there's the communication, you got to send out your order, it's going to be a little bit different in how they run things, right? So I think about just even with Tanner and what Meacham does, right? They send an email out, this is what we have for wholesale, the growers are placing, or the businesses or consumers are placing their orders, and then the orders are being pulled. You have to invoice, you have to follow up on those invoices, and then if there's a mess up in the order, like who's handling that admin stuff? Are we asking the farmer to put on all those hats? So that might be a roadblock, right? Roadblock might be staffing needed to support the project.
Logistics.
And then before I go off mute again, two other like regulatory things that just came to mind is FSMA, FSMA. I think that might be more for on farm than it is for actual supply chains. But understanding FSMA like implications, and then ServSafe. I don't know if ServSafe might be more on the retail side than it is on the supply chain side, but those are things that we should get a handle on.
Perfect. Yeah, I know I have my manager certificate for ServSafe, and it's all if you're the seller. So if you're if you're the one taking the product and turning it into something, or you're the one selling, like, because we're technically a food truck, so I have to have that manager certification. But I think it's all great stuff for us to look into, especially as we try to grow this program. And the GAP certification, I think, is a huge one for sure.
Definitely.
Love it.
Great objective too.
So we can put more, there is more stuff down here. So if we want to add different stuff, or if you want to expand on.
So I'm trying to think of like.
We can kind of look back up here because we've gotten to the 20.
So maybe one of the things is identifying what the grower is going to need to increase their sales, right? So like, are they going to need soil? Are they going to need harvesting tools? Are they like, outside of the staffing, what other resources do they need to invest? Like, do they need to invest in some wood to make some more raised beds? Are they able to, do they need a tiller because now it's going to be a bigger plot of land?
Do you want to make that like another like initiative, is more like even kind of going backwards and made it a separate initiative for like removing roadblocks? Because this is kind of like getting to be a whole separate like thing. Yeah, so like maybe we make this initiative like removing roadblocks, or
maybe identify, and only is removing roadblocks. So creating and thinking of like so we're creating a pathway for the grower to, so it's essentially that's the initiative, is to like create this. I'm just talking it out, right? Right? So the initiative is to create this system, right? So, and putting those pieces together. So like the initiative at the top is like identify the growers, identify where we're going to go. Next is the system that we need in order to make sure the grower is successful and that we can meet the demand.
Yeah.
Can we create our own retail space? When I say that, like, I see that. Look at Meacham Farm, and they have shipping containers on the land.
Yep.
And it's store produce.
So there is a shipping container farmers market that you can literally have, like it's a woman in the Delta of Mississippi, her name's Marguerite. I've been meeting with her a little bit. She's done 2 of them in an area that has no grocery store. And it is like a plug and play. It's one of the things we kind of talked about potentially as one of the options for like Sulphur Springs or another area that doesn't have a grocery
So I
store.
found a lot from a property owner in Sulphur Springs.
Okay.
And they're open to me putting shipping containers on there. And the next step is using that as it's a corner lot, so you have to rezone it to commercial,
Mm-hmm.
and then putting shipping containers on there, and being able to ship produce there, but then having golf carts, having a delivery system only, using an app to where people can order online
Mm-hmm.
or on the app and just use golf carts to distribute the produce in the
Love
area.
In the area,
Produce
yeah.
in the area. And it'll cut down traffic, right? And create jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And it'll centralize our.
Yeah, I think, and that's in Silver Springs, right?
Yes, and then
So I
use
think
it
that
as
that's a huge opportunity with
Uh,
potentially with what they're talking about with the food access there. I love that.
and
That's great.
then partner with local farms like
Mhm.
Meacham Farm,
Mhm.
Homegrown, partner with them to have their produce shipped to.
Yeah. So I think Meacham is maxed, like meaning like I asked him, I was like, I haven't done a wholesale list in a long time, and he's like, we're not doing wholesale anymore. So and maybe it's like only certain restaurants or certain things, but what I think is what you're getting to there is, but are there growers in Sulphur Springs? Are there
Right.
people that are in that area?
We have farms, smart gardens,
Gardens.
but you can never with those gardens meet the demand
Yeah.
of our community.
Yeah.
So you have to. So I would think, yes, a refrigeration system somewhere. And I located a few plots of land, commercial.
You could do a refrigerator and a shipping container right on the
Right,
same spot.
right, on the same spot. Either that but I've been on Nebraska as well. I've talked to some some landowners, and seeing what they think, wait for feedback. But our biggest problem is having enough.
So there's that question that we can really look at, and maybe that's part of the Acre Summit is our goal is there's 2 different goals with Sulphur Springs, right? There's access to healthy food, and then there's helping grow more local food. So if we can't meet the demand, but we can max out our growers, but the residents need things or are asking for things like your bananas, avocados, I don't know, apples, oranges are in season, so we're good there. But if they're looking at that as a balanced approach, but really highlighting and doing the marketing around, like this was grown in your community and incorporating kind of what Dolly is doing at the well, like with the mobile kitchen. But I think that it is going to be hard to, especially if you pop a new grocery store and you have like a full presentation similar to Meacham, right? You got to think Meacham's been growing for 5-6 years now, and they have farm partners, so they have 2 or 3, and so we can look at like the ones that they're using, but we want to try to stay in Hillsborough first. But as you're building that out, there could be that option of you could introduce, like Why Mama's in Hillsborough. You could look at some of the bigger producers to get cucumbers from. And then, okay, we know we're going to sell 50 pounds of cucumbers. So now we know if we put that investment into that infrastructure to grow those 50 pounds of cucumbers a week, we're going to sell them. So there's that to look at as well.
And another thing I was thinking about is that inherently, where I'm from, Sulphur Springs, we don't, like, what's the point of buying fresh produce? What am I going to eat with it? What am I going to cook? And yes, you can do food demonstrations, to kind of teach and to kind of like change behaviors and like give them options. Hey, this is what you can do with food. But I was thinking like more so like a full from growing to distribution to actual retail or actual store, like a fresh kitchen, and actually allow people to come in. Okay, they can come in and buy, a bowl that was made from their local, community gardens or from their local farmers market, and like you see what or fresh kitchen, like do the healthy bowls. But then it's this program called is it Stash Coin? It's not Stash Coin. It's a token at Sulphur Springs Elementary they use where sponsors they come in they can donate to a nonprofit and the vendor will be able to exchange those tokens for money. So then they'll give the tokens to residents, and they can use those residents to purchase things at events within the Sulphur Springs community.
Wow.
Oh, that's really
That
cool.
is very
So,
cool.
I think that'd be a way to kind of, that could be $5 or $7. And if we make fresh bowls, healthy bowls, that can meet that range, maybe like each person can get, I don't know, 5 a week or something like that, 1 a day, something like that. And where you can actually, they can actually have healthy choices. They can afford it.
Right.
Right. And then incentivize like, hey, we're in the sustainability pipeline. So hey, we have community cleanups. We have different projects we need done, and it's kind of like a compensation, to some sort. It's some type of compensation for your time. You can go. Now you don't have to go. You have the option. You have $7 a coin. You're not going to Checkers now. McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC. That's right. That's centrally located. You can go to the local healthy spot now. And make that popular. So creating a retail space to also actually cook meals, not demonstration, but actually you can pay for this meal.
I love it. Yeah.
I think that's really far down the road from where we're at now.
But it's a really good vision to have, and then it's like, how do we start with that, right? And think of that, and it might not be that far down the road if Sulphur Springs.
That's all you need.
Well, if Sulphur Springs does end up with some funding infusion or different things, right, for the food access.
Right. Yeah.
But that's that would be identifying a location. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
So systems.
It's attainable for sure.
Oh, it's definitely.
Yeah.
Look up the organization In Her Shoes. In Her Shoes.
Oh.
That is the woman. Her name is inhershoes.org, I believe. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because she's done something similar in Mississippi with with the shipping container. And let me just make sure that this is the right website. No, this is different. I'll find it because it's not coming the same foundation, but it's just.
So are we on initiative number 2?
Yes.
Oh, that was number 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to scooch it to the actually be on a page together.
Okay.
So it's easier to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the site here, inhershoesinc.org. I think I have your number saved, Charlie. I should.
So, if we're
Adams,
objectives to identify roadblocks,
Okay, I just sent that to you.
selling it, do we want to kind of separate these out? Or to ensure growth success, we're gonna identify the roadblocks, and then maybe would we actually move the marketing down here? Or is there more, what other ways can we?
Well, you have logistics, right? And then I would say marketing would be a separate bucket.
I agree.
So like as an objective or as an action item? So right now we have marketing up here under increasing
Yeah, I
sales.
think that's
Yeah.
fine.
I think
fine
so,
to leave it
yeah.
there.
So then for the ensuring a success, objective 1 would be identifying the roadblocks. What kind of fits here? Or do we want to just make it one big objective? And
Well, I think
Oh, are you saying like for those items, the gap certification,
yeah, like do
all
we
of that?
want these to kind of be separate like another objective B to like work on certifications or do some type of like I don't know, like do we want to separate these out? Because I think these are kind of bigger tasks that might need more separate like attention, you know what I mean? But It doesn't have to be. It's
I mean,
what
I
you
think
guys
it
want. Yeah.
still goes under identifying the
Like
roadblock. I mean, it's all a part of identifying that, and it just happens to be a little bigger lift than, you know, I think they're all pretty big lifts, but you know, like
And then you break them down in the action, like someone would probably, like an action.
action item, right? Yeah, just.
So then that would have to, maybe would be separate based on the way that, I'm looking at the way this is.
Yeah. I was kind of just writing stuff in here. So,
So maybe objective one, if we shift down a little bit, is meet. So an action item would be to meet with the growers. And the other thing you're talking about is like the cost. So some of the feedback that I've heard is the cost of local produce may be a prohibiting factor because it does cost more for a small grower to grow it. So they have to charge more.
Yeah.
Not to. So I'm thinking, and that obviously could be like the fresh access bucks and doubling SNAP dollars, but if someone doesn't have SNAP, what programs can we use to help increase or reduce the cost? Yeah.
Offset some of the costs.
Yeah.
so meeting with the growers is the first
Yes.
action item.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm always like call the objective. It's okay. We can do action first. So meeting with the growers to like, see what's happening.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
determine needs and to determine current practices and needs. Right?
Yeah.
And then the second of like inside of that would be the identify the resource. So after we meet with them, we'll identify the resources. And then I'm thinking the like staffing to support and all of that may be, I guess it is under action items. Sorry.
It's okay. I was like, these are kind of.
Versus objective. So the objective would be more determine the need of the growers. The action item would be meet with the growers, then identify current resources. And then we have resources twice, so like, we probably don't need the bottom one. And then maybe just, identify current resources and needs or gaps. I don't want to use gap because gap is a certification. And needs, okay.
Or for growing, or just in general.
Just in general, right? Because.
And these are kind of more just like ideas of what they could use.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kind of separate that. Alright. So does this cover this objective?
Yeah.
So then, what other objectives or like actions, should we move the, like looking to certification programs, or the next objective is to remove those barriers?
Remove the barriers.
Barriers. That's not success. Remove barriers for success.
Yeah.
Okay. I really wish this was.
And then I think that would be, the bottom section that we have, right, with this,
Okay.
and that,
So
they kind of cut that and move that into the next.
Yep.
So we can talk about staffing or even vehicle. Coolers, they probably don't need a vehicle, right? Coolers.
Coolers, yeah.
But if they might need a vehicle, if.
These are just kind of ideas here.
Yeah.
Just general like equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be action items would be like kind of.
Yep.
Figuring these things out.
Figuring out all the roadblocks that we mentioned earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe this is something that is more kind of determined once you have your growers, like this has to come after.
Yeah, it has to come after that first meeting.
Yeah.
Because that first meeting is going to be more of like a SWOT analysis of
Right, yeah.
what their needs are, challenges, and then we can. So this flows really well, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So because the objective is remove barriers for success, I feel like we're doing more. Are we identifying the barrier or are we like literally removing?
Well, our goal would be to remove them. So with the grant, that
Yeah.
would be the goal, is like, let's identify what's going to cause
What's the
us
need?
not.
Yeah.
And we have funding that's potentially available to support that.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
our goal is going to be to remove those barriers to make
Yep.
it happen.
Yep. Got it.
That's our goal.
That's our goal. That's right.
And maybe it's one barrier
Yeah.
for everyone.
Mhm.
You know, maybe we could go in on a transportation or something, or we decide to do that, gap certification for a group or
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, and even
Yeah.
like the staffing, right? Like it might not be a full-time staff, but that one person,
Maybe they do a route for
they
all
could
5
do, yeah.
groups.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's all going to be, the goal is that it's kind of centrally located,
Yeah.
right? So we can really test this community model. We identified one of the things was that we wanted to at least have one location in Sulphur Springs, I think is what we had
Yes.
really made sure
Yeah.
was on there in our goals.
Is Buddy and Danny or the grocery, is that who you gonna be working with?
So the Healthy Neighborhood Store that we kind of talked about at our meeting on Tuesday with the food access group was that things weren't going really well with Buddy and Danny's. Like there's been a lot of communication issues, so we're gonna try to move to the meat market, like a couple right on the same street. So they're gonna try to pivot to the meat market.
So they just started that pilot, right?
In the last couple months, yeah.
Okay.
And it's just it's been, the community has been really positive. The kickoff event was really great, and the community was good. But we're just like bringing produce there, and the staff is saying like, we don't have any room for this, or like her signs are disappearing, and like she's asking like, did this stuff sell? And they're like,
Oh.
we don't know. Like so it's been.
So that's definitely will be good feedback to get, because that's that's setting the stage for whoever says yes to this project. It's like, this is what we're going to ask of you, as the retailer, as the
Yes,
restaurant.
And that's actually something that they were talking about as well, as like creating like some type of like MOU that says,
Yeah.
this is kind of what we expect. We need, you're gonna have this type of space or whatever.
I
Also,
put that
like,
in there.
not
Yeah, it's
gonna-
about. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, so I was thinking for the remove barriers to success, the comment that Janai made was, really, really smart in that, like, all of these. And so maybe even just prioritizing the barriers you want to remove in what order, right? So like even creating, and like Savannah said, maybe we all want to solve transportation, but then there's still staffing and certifications and all of that. But I think that like a good thing to walk away with would be like, okay, first we want to do this, and then we want to do this, and a timeline, I think, so it might take us 2 years to overcome all of these barriers, but that helps us chart our course.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
makes sense. And it feels attainable that way, because looking at it right now, I'm like, ooh, that's a lot.
Right, yeah, so how do we want to prioritize, or are we determining after? Like, do you want me to
I think we have to
here?
wait till we determine and
After-
talk to the growers.
Yeah.
Because if their issue is they need resources to grow more food, well, they might not be ready
Right.
to be in production to increase, right?
Right.
So I think that's like, we have to have those conversations with the goal of, we want to increase your sales. So what do you need from the ground up to increase your sales? And and I guess it will also help us, like, what items are they looking to increase sales? Are they looking to increase sales on value added, like production items, where they're going to need to go into a commercial kitchen to produce those because they no longer can produce that under cottage food? But I think getting to know what they are capable of doing and what they want to do.
So let me ask. I'm gonna pivot this back to Monica, or anyone else who wants to chime in, based off Monica's comment about, do we want to just kind of chart out priority wise? Is it wise going into this to have that like already mapped out? Although that first initial meeting, the goal is to really hear directly from the producers. And so if we haven't done that, it's going to be hard for us to, we're just merely going and saying, well, these are the issues by priority without having those conversations. So do we think about doing any kind of like pre-work or pre-polling, pre-surveys? Monica, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts, my like personal thoughts, and I think there's, a bunch of ways to get this done. So I don't think that this has to be the only way. I would spend some time hopping on Google Scholar or other online journals to see, like, there is for sure research about barriers to
Mhm.
institutional selling. And so
Yeah.
certifications,
Yep.
transportation, staffing, I bet you there is a journal article that has a nice bar chart, pie chart, bar graph, of that.
Yeah.
And so what for me, my most success as an organizer is when you can come in with something and say,
Yeah.
hey, this is my starting point. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Because if you kind of open it up and say, like, let's talk about our barriers, then it might
Yeah.
kind of go off the rails and you might be talking about like, so for me as a organizer, I would encourage you to, yeah, do a little bit of that pre-work you were mentioning. And you might say like, hey, this article says that, transportation is the number one issue for small producers to get to big markets. Is that true for you too? And everyone goes, no, we have trucks. We like that's we have retail outlets. No, what's a bigger concern for us is certification, pricing, blah 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 blah. But that to me is an easier way to say, okay, cool, cross that off, go to the next
Yep.
versus having these open. So I would encourage you to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And we did that.
And then now that I know that you're looking
Yeah.
into those, I can also post some in the platform or send them to you. But I'll just post them in the platform, and I bet you I've posted them before because I do
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
these. And Nicole's shaking her head. I know she sees them too. So yeah.
Yeah, we've done them. We've gone through a couple. I think that's why we're pulling these as the issues. So I think, and I agree going in, like, because sometimes I'll be like, what do you mean what's my barrier? Like I need, so sometimes that guided conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, more hours in the day isn't necessarily something that we can solve in Homegrown Hillsborough.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
to be able to help with that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
So do we want to maybe build out that part first and maybe talk more? Right now the order is that, we're connecting the sales, but maybe we want to move it more like the determine, this is really our initiative one, is this part, determine the needs of growers. So do we want to like make this a little bit more?
And I'd say needs an interest. Right?
Yeah.
Because we need to know who's interested. Needs, interest, and capacity. Because needs would be under, like, capacity would be.
So, like, do we want to host an event? Do we want to do like a webinar or something, and like as a focus group or something to do that stuff? Because I think if this is where we're starting, we need to build this like a strong foundation.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on like, well, after we find this out, then we have to do this and this.
Right.
So maybe start with like, what is our first course of action? How are we going to meet with them? Are we sending someone to meet them individually? Do you want to do a group thing? Or?
Yeah, I know I've met with both Dee and Georgia just to like learn, right? Just to check in, and because they're in the producer category. And so I think that would be great, but we won't be able to get an event before the Acre Summit.
No, I've done that before, so
then
you put that as part of like, here's what we're going to do.
I think that'd be good to have
I think so too.
An event or schedule a tour of their farm, like, and that would, I think, kind of be up to the grower, right? Like, it's, so once we identify which growers maybe, determine needs and interests of growers. So that's the biggest opportunity is that. So I'm trying to think, the action item could be, we talked about this before, use the food producer list and start to solicit, like after the acre training, right? Like, you're listed as a producer, we're doing this program. Are you interested? Well, yes, well, absolutely. But they were on our list. They were on our list of people to invite.
So are we kind of do like an open call to anyone who's invited, and then from there identify the 5? Like, how would we identify the 5? Or that's up to us?
Yeah, it's kind of up to you guys how you want to pick those 5. And I would encourage them to come to this, the Acre thing, so that that might even give us a good baseline, and they can say things even when we were there. They'll say, "Well, this is what I need." You say, "Okay, it's great. So here's some ideas that we have for that, right?"
Yeah.
For sure, and that's why you have that like recruitment list,
Okay.
and we want to try to get them to Acre. So first thing, I guess, would be so we're meeting with growers, so we want to
we're calling growers and producers.
So reach out to produce as again. Do we want to call them producers or growers? I'm sorry, it's like I'm just typing what we're like saying. we can make it all one word if we want.
We can be consistent. I mean,
Yeah, we call them producers within Homegrown Hillsborough, right? So it's, I think, keeping that consistent, that language.
So determine interest, reach out to producers to like recruit them for
Program participation.
Yeah. We're gonna meet them to determine their current practicing need. And then
Maybe, and I'm thinking like on-site meeting, right?
yes.
I feel like going and seeing is.
or is that like part of something else?
Yeah, I think that'd be part of the meet with them,
Meet
determine.
with them,
Yeah, but I think an on-site meeting would be very valuable. Yeah, that flow's really good.
And for the identify current resources and needs, maybe resources, needs, and opportunities.
I'm gonna have to. Objective 2 is also going to be identifying the interest, and so we have the producer, but we have to have the location. So that probably objective 2, and then objective 3 would be remove barriers for success.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's easier to timeline that out. Because if we talk to the growers first,
Right, so
and then we go to
Exactly.
the locate, like, so now we have what the growers have. Like, here's
That's
the list of
right.
what they're growing. Here's what they can grow. Then we can start to solicit to because it's really selling, right? We're going to start to, and that could be like on-site visits that we do as a group. To locations that we've identified.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was our like first thing.
Okay,
So is this? Do we want to move this? Like, or maybe just kind of forget about this and go back down here and say the identifying the sales locations.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how are we doing that?
So I would say use a map relative to the grower's location or producer's location. That'd be the first step. Like, here's the grower, here's the.
That's right.
Yeah, not making it this.
Yeah.
Opposite direction.
Yep.
And schedule.
Schedule on-site.
Visit
visits.
location, right, to see the alignment. And then maybe then after we visit, then we would schedule a
Like introduction.
schedule a meeting introduction. Because kind of our goal is to be that connector to help the grower, right?
That's
Mm-hmm.
So the grower would be welcome to come to that meeting with us, but we already have their information, we know what they're growing, we know what their capabilities are. Let's just say they have kale, beets, and strawberries, and there's a juice company within 3 miles from them, and we go and say, hey, do you want to do a local juice or a local smoothie?
There you go.
That, and the producer might not have to be at that meeting. We actually would invite them.
Yeah.
But if their hands are full, then that's kind of what we would be
that's
doing.
pretty, cool.
Kind of like a matchmaker.
That's
Yeah.
the connector, right? Like the best.
is
Kind of
the
the
best.
fun. It is the
Yes.
fun job to have, right? You're like, I know.
Yeah,
someone who takes
exactly.
today. Tanner would be like, I found you another outlet.
Especially when it works out and when it's successful, you could just sit back like the proud parent, like, look at
Yes. Yeah. So great.
So do we have another objective, or is this how we're?
And then objective 3 was the roadblocks, right? We just moved that down.
We just moved that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because that's step 1, step 2, and step 3.
Yeah.
So then
And then it's
this
implementation.
part this will be our initiative 2 instead. Actually, I don't know, what do you want me to do with this information?
No, you're fine.
Or do you want me to keep this or put it somewhere else?
Can you-
So I'm confused. So what was the bottom part?
So this one's, I think we kind of worked backwards a little
We
bit.
did,
So yeah,
okay.
like this is
Got it.
I
the
feel like
first
that,
kind of steps, and I think the actual like increasing sales part is more of like the next step. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna see.
and a lot of it's the same stuff. So
Right.
we'll have to like present this. Sorry, Savannah, we're kind of going all
Yeah,
over.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, so then this will move down to, I'll switch the names here. And we'll do, hopefully this fits nicely, we're gonna see. Kind of. Okay,
Close enough.
so this is, I'm just gonna make this 2. And then this will be 1. And then I'll delete the real one. Yeah, we'll get rid of this whole thing. I think that should.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Oops. Alright. Great. Can't be too easy, but. Okay. So I think that makes sense, and I'm just gonna move my mouse now. Lost my cursor. There we go. This is 1. Great.
So initiative 1 is create system needed to ensure producer success. That's not the initiative. Yeah, the initiative is to increase
sales.
sales by 20%. Oh no, that's the goal.
Do
So
we have that? I thought we already put that in there.
I think that's more
Number 2.
initiative 2.
Okay.
is
Oh,
increasing
sorry.
Sales, yeah, so
Yeah.
this one is more like the starting, I don't know what to call it, like the growing.
I think the initiative name and the goal are kind of almost the same. I
Yeah.
think.
okay.
Like I think like initiative name is selling more produce, and the goal is, or roadblocks, and then the goal is to identify that they're pretty
Okay.
similar. It's just one is a name, so you can refer to it as something, and the other is a specific goal. I think.
I think so too. Yeah, so I feel like
Yeah.
the names are
Yeah,
less.
can you go down to initiative 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is, initiative 2 is increased sales.
Okay, so
This one.
roadblocks and so maybe that's the systems one because we removed that, right? Or is that 3?
There's no 3.
Okay, so yeah,
So that's
roadblocks and systems. And
Yeah, the systems that should be the first one, right?
yeah, roadblocks, like systems and roadblocks, maybe?
Yeah.
Like the how, because that's the how.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time, like the stuff, like,
Yeah.
cause it, it's great.
Great. Okay, so like this is a.
Imagine doing this though with a huge group like they do in Acre.
I know. This is massive. I'll just get these. Like this really isn't. Maybe this would have been better in Excel. But
For sure.
It's like, Adrian
You're
gives you a fillable PDF, so that's like, somehow. In my opinion.
You're doing great because with
I would-
people watching, I would have been like, just forget
I'm
it.
trying to put this on the other page, so it just all is together a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what all these weird gaps are, but that's not the most important part. Yeah, like I can't make that. That's fine. Can we put it like this? Nope, okay.
It might be like a setting, like a text wrap thing, but no biggie.
Yeah, like I thought I was worried about.
We'll work around it. Yeah.
That's okay. I do want to also, so we have about 30 minutes left of our meeting. Part of this is also like a recruitment plan. So you guys had, this was something that the food access group put a deadline on for themselves. So I put it here just to kind of give you an idea. You don't have to follow their thing. But this was your list, and actually hold on. YouTube doesn't like when I put this on the video, so I don't want to share the screen.
Okay.
I don't want to share this specific thing. So this is what you guys made last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some more of it could stand to be filled in.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's information here, but if you guys want, so Amanda and Ryan and Elizabeth, you guys are all kind of have names on here.
Yeah.
So if your name is on it, yeah, so if you don't throw your name on some of them, we need a contact date and kind of if they're saying yes or no, or maybe, I don't know if that's one of the options, yes or maybe, yeah. And then I would advise that you reach out to them now, and then you reach out to them again in January, as kind of a, hey, remember this? Or like you said maybe, or you said yes or no. Probably don't call the no's, but call the yeses and the maybes again and say like, you know, are you still planning on coming? You know, this is our thing. So do you guys want to maybe either sign things out or put a deadline on when you want to reach out to them? I will tell you, like, it's not a crazy amount of time. Like doing confirm calls for the conference took a couple hours, and we called 100 plus people. So, and it looks like Amanda's got a lot of these on her list.
Amanda's got a lot.
Yeah. So we'll have to talk to her. But
Well, there's Charlie right there.
yeah, look at that. So you're
Are you coming? Are you a yes?
Yeah, yeah.
We got a yes. We got a yes.
Before I could, between the neighborhood association,
Yeah.
I was like, one good stretch way too thin, but
Yeah.
I can, narrow it down.
Yes.
Be
mark your
more.
calendar, January 23rd.
I'm already scheduled.
You're on it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so that's one person off the list. But I don't know if you guys want to like go through and do all this. I don't know if you'll-
Yeah, I can. I'll take care of Chrissy. That's fine because I actually need to reach out to her. John too. Yeah, that's fine. The question I have though is, are the other groups like?
So
Or is this like all three? Like through all three groups aren't reaching out to the same people.
yeah, I basically so food production is not like doing the same thing. They're gonna show up, but they're not doing like this type of recruiting. And your list and food access actually, I don't think had any overlap.
Okay,
I looked at
good.
them together and was like, huh. So I think that
Hey, Savannah, we can't see whatever you're showing right now. Sorry.
so I don't have it on the screen because when I
Okay.
put like phone numbers and email addresses on YouTube, it flags
Oh,
it.
yeah. Okay, sorry. Yep,
Things
sorry.
that you're doxing.
Yeah, so
Yeah. No, it's happened to me before too. Okay.
it's their recruitment list that has the names and the group that people are with and like email addresses. And if you guys want to kind of par this down to and say like, actually these people won't be helpful to our goals, so we don't want to bother them, that's fine too. So I know we were just kind of like throwing out anyone we thought would be relevant, but now knowing kind of your goals and
Exactly.
what the asks are going to be,
Yeah.
if you want to kind of make decisions like that, you can do that.
Because there are a couple that I added that I'm like, maybe
Might
not.
not be
Yeah, but
So
I can go through and
yeah, so I don't know if you guys want
Like
to
Chrissy
more-
would be good. John maybe. I mean, John's always very value added when he comes, but Chrissy's in charge of well fed, right? So she would be that community.
operations,
Yeah.
Maybe
And
that
then-
could be a retail outlet is
Yes.
the drop or something.
Yes. I know Meacham, reach out. Alyssa, I'll take care of Alyssa. And I think still having that partner, especially with what we just saw happen, I think yesterday, right? So I think having Advent Health, because they could be a retail partner, like one of their hospitals, Tampa Well, same. So they could absolutely, let's see.
Stop sharing the old because they're just gonna be it.
So Elizabeth has the well. Meacham, I'll take Meacham. And then
But if they're at capacity, like
I don't know. I'll
or
double
maybe-
check. Yeah, I'll just reach out and.
or maybe they want to sell other people's stuff too.
Right, and the other side of it is they also can help with some of the barriers to entry. Like
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
they're living that life, right?
That's a good point.
What is HOP? Is that HOPS?
It's
Oh,
the
HCPS.
school. I don't know if that's
School
Jennifer's
district.
Marcy. I don't know.
I
That's
mean,
public school.
I can.
Hillsborough County Public
Isn't
Schools.
that?
I was like,
I have a call with Jenna Friday.
Oh, it's in,
Yeah, so I can. Yep. This Friday or next Friday, I'm not sure, but I'll just throw it in there. Sweetwater.
I would Megan Dixie on this.
She was, yes.
Yeah. And she's the education person.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I have her contact.
Okay.
I think her email is just like education at whatever their website is.
Who's in charge of the production? Is Water doing it?
I don't know. I don't know who their like farm manager is. I know there's Chris and Joni, but I don't know
If they're,
what they're.
okay.
Yeah. But I think Dixie would know.
Okay.
And if you talk to her, she can maybe point at either she'll come or she'll direct someone. Let me get it. Sorry, I'm doing my email. She's the education coordinator. So. Education.
Is there some kind of like template or
Oh, yes.
something that we can share? Oh,
Yes, and
perfect.
actually, it's on the agenda. I linked it for you, which now this is its own separate tab. Let me put these back together. So on the agenda, there is, so we would say if you can call them first and then follow up, I have an email template that basically says, the outcome.
Yes,
Written strategic plan.
Perfect.
It has the information. It does say to attach the flyer. The flyer is in the drive.
Okay.
So you can use that or just take out that sentence.
Got it.
And just make sure that, obviously fill in the blanks here. And it's linked on the agenda and it's in.
Where it says email.
Okay, I
perfect.
tried to link everything, so if you guys want to
You're
go back
awesome.
and revise the work plan, or if you want to do the plan, you have to remember we are not meeting in January besides the Acre
The
Summit.
Acre
So
Summit,
if you want
okay.
to do like a work day or something, that's totally up to you guys. Or even just like a call or something, I don't know. Up to you. If you think you got it on your own, or you can
I might try
communicate
to
with each other and do it
schedule
on your own.
if it's okay, and I'll send it out to everybody. But we have a meeting to follow up with Dream Builders, so we'll probably schedule that meeting, and then which could potentially be a retail outlet, right? And then the maybe we could. Did you? Yeah. And then, so yeah, we can look at that for January, maybe even an on-site, or we can meet at a couple of, maybe we could do a day where we're like, okay, we're gonna go to these three, like, just to get ahead of some of the action items, like,
That would be a good idea.
yeah, we'll
Love that.
meet and have some juice somewhere.
Yeah. Love it.
January slows down a lot. Can you go back to the
Yes,
list?
I wish they knew what this is. Oh, yeah.
All right, so list
I
on.
threw Dixie's info on here. Maybe we want to take Danny's off.
Yeah, I was just gonna. United Way. Okay, Elizabeth will do that.
I don't know who this person is at all.
Imagine, no
I
idea.
have no idea who that is.
Otherwise, we have Bay, Moffett. Yeah, these are pretty filled in. Honestly. I think this is the wrong. That should be a handout. Okay. But I will say, you gotta talk to Amanda to tell her that she's got this big old list after.
Oh yeah, those are all, I think, people within her network.
Yeah, her
too, so-
network, exactly. So like, just let her know that she, and I don't know, maybe we need to do kind of a catch-up meeting with Elizabeth and
Mhm.
Amanda to kind of get them on the same page with what's going on here, because this was more of like a working session, so they know what they need to be doing.
And then, I mean, I definitely think we need to reach out to Dee and Georgia, but I think that, yeah, I think that they're already in.
They should be planning. Dee will definitely. She's posted, and Georgia, I believe, will attend. But maybe just like a, hey, we kind of. I don't know if they'll be able to be part of your working part because they'll be doing
They'll be
their
doing
working
theirs.
part. But so then maybe talking to them beforehand or something.
And there was another garden in their network, right? So the other grower, maybe get one of their representatives there, right? Because there's three. So it's.
Oh, you mean with their in their working group?
No, not in the working group. In their collective, their little farm collective. They're trying to work together to do they're increasing, like they're doing the quarterly farmers market.
Yeah.
The three of them. I don't know. I'll check. I thought it was a third. And then thinking of like,
Missing a name or something that'll help me connect it. It's probably gonna be.
yeah, I forget
Yeah.
the
I
name.
mean,
It's okay.
like you all know as well, my biggest, have space that we can use. I was using the city of Tampa, which you give me, which was like you have access to River Tower Park, and they give me 6 days a year there, and that's what 23 acres, and then Rolette Park, I'll be able to get another. That's like another 5 acres, but on Nebraska, our main corridor, right across from the Springs Theater. There's a lot there, and the owner, I'm on the board of the Springs Theater, so I can use that. And then I'm working with Adam, the gentleman that owns Armature Works, and he has a lot right on Nebraska that he allowed me to use.
Does Armature Works host farmers markets?
Yeah.
They do. Okay. Do they have growers there, or is it mainly a makers market?
Makers Market.
Okay, so that could be a potential option as an outlet, right? I feel like that. So it's mainly more of a makers market. You don't have a farm.
Something in Sulphur Springs rather than.
Well, we got to have a balance, right? So
Yeah.
like Sulphur Springs is listed, but you also want to look at Sulphur, you have access and you have profit too, right? And that for a grower, and they might be able to do both. They can go in and do both as well. So if Armature Works is an established market that has a ton of traffic, for a grower to go in and sell some stuff, it might be like Sulphur Springs is all over like what we're trying to do as well. So we have to have multiple outlets. So you're not going to put all 5 in Sulphur Springs, right? So just kind of.
Who are you working with in Sulphur Springs? Who are you working with in Sulphur Springs? Because I don't see where the market is kind of. How can we?
We haven't identified them yet. So we meeting with so I guess Buddy and Danny's with Georgia, but we haven't identified where we're working. That's what we're working with you, right? Like that's if you're going to have a farmer's market those 6 days and you need a grower to be at that farmer's market.
No, I have 6 days in Rivertop Park.
Okay.
6 days in Rivertop Park, 6 a year.
Okay.
I will do another 6 at Rolette Park, and then I have every weekend or every day at the lot on Nebraska.
So setting up a market there.
I can set
on
a
Nebraska.
market every day for 24 hours a day
Wow.
on Nebraska.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the big
Indoor or
It's-
just outdoor?
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I can do
Does that have
24 hours a
electricity?
day. Electricity,
That's-
water,
Wow.
parking.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so it's- yeah.
Part, yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a way, like, how can I keep saying it, like, out this market.
Yeah, well, we're just not there yet. Like we don't have the growers to like go and just set up. So like,
Yeah, Georgia, she's on board. I brought in Meacham Farm,
Okay.
be on board. So that's
so what can we do to help support that then? We've already.
marketing is the biggest thing.
Okay.
That's why he just said,
Yes.
you do marketing, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
And
Yeah.
finding other vendors too, that we just don't want to have quotas, right? So we have to get people on board in regards to buying into the concept of coming to Sulphur Springs, because it's a new concept people are kind of afraid of, right? So bringing in high-end vendors, right? Because we're right next door to Seminole Heights. And the majority of that population is the population like the one that's going to spend money, right? So vendors,
And are you a fab retailer at your markets?
what do you mean?
So Fresh Access Bucks, are you able to
I
double
can do
snap
it,
dollars?
yes. I can do it. I just spoke with a lady from that does all the
Yeah.
programming
Okay.
for that.
Because that brings the cost down, right? Because they can
Right,
buy like
right.
honey and then go get fresh produce as well.
So the first market was very successful.
That's awesome.
We had maybe like 135 people show up.
Okay.
First
Wow.
market, that's not a lot, but we have the potential to, expand it.
The more that you're there consistently, the
Right.
more you're going to have your regulars come. Like
That's right.
that's
When it
usually
comes
the
to
same.
sponsorships, right? Sponsoring, getting more exposure, kind of using the network that we already have to kind of blast it out with
Mhm.
well-built city, Hillsborough County,
Yep.
the UF extension program, and kind of getting it out and like kind of helping promote it, right? Because right now, the organization that's coming to me and that's really pressing, I'm pushing them back, is the USF. right? They want to come in and support the market, right? So, and I've been kind of like, wait, because they're kind of working on the same thing, a food initiative in Sulphur Springs, right? And I've been kind of like pushing them back and working with UF and kind of see what's going to happen with us before I commit. I don't want to commit to them because I've been started here already, right? So I think it's a huge opportunity here, and we should kind of like double
But if
down.
they already have a network of vendors, I don't necessarily know if that would be like a conflict of interest or anything, right? Like, because USF sets up their market, they have a lot of vendors. Is that what they're saying? They can bring those vendors into your.
Lots of funding, marketing, and doing a collaboration.
Okay.
Basically the same thing. But they're not as far along
Right.
as they've gone.
Right.
They're building from the bottom, so to speak. But they just spoke with the commissioner yesterday, and they mentioned the market. So
Cool.
That's really exciting.
So we can list that as one of the potential locations, right, with the dates and things like that as well for the grower. Your markets are on Saturdays?
I'm doing it every third Saturday right now,
Okay.
but it's just a conversation to have to say, hey, can we use this land, this many market dates? And I was thinking with well-built cities, bringing that food truck on. I spoke with the owner of that. She's on board. She hasn't set any dates yet for the year, so she's on board. All right, so that's a food vendor that can sell fresh produce. That could be an opportunity to retail.
And then you have.
What's the name?
I call it the Sulphur Springs main corridor, but it's no official name. The address is 8015 North Nebraska Avenue. And it's literally right across the street from the Springs Theater, and it's along the Hillsborough River.
And that's the lot location?
That's a lot location. And then the entire River Tower Park, that entire lot. So from the spring all the way to the tower, hosting events once a month. Or that's just markets.
So are you looking to open a market on that lot full time, 7 days a week? Are you looking to just do a pop-up once a week? Are you looking to do a pop-up?
Pop up on the lot, we're on Nebraska, pop up there, do once or multiple times a week. And then at River Tower Park and Rolette Park, do a featured event once a month.
Okay.
Right. So if I can go every third Saturday, every third Saturday of the month, it could be either at Rolette or River Tower Park.
So you don't want to do both locations. You're trying to do one or the other.
One or the other at a time. At a time.
Okay.
Right. So and then 1, 2, and 4 weeks of the month.
Yeah.
We can go at the lot where the main corridor pop-ups there. And then do a special featured market at either Rolette or River
So you're looking
Tower.
at essentially have a full market schedule in those areas.
Right.
So whatever vendor commits, they're taking on the risk of a new market, like for all 4 weeks, right? Like are you looking?
No. So okay,
And the reason why I call it a risk is because it's as a farmer. The only reason why I'm calling it a risk is I'm a farmer. I'm going to a new market. The reason why it's a risk is I don't know if I'm going to sell stuff. I've gone into markets and they've been even in all different types of locations, and I've sold $50 and I'm there for 5 hours.
Right.
And I have 2 staff and I bring, so that's why I call it a risk. It's not a risk because it's a risk because it's new. That's why it can be a market in Hyde Park, and that could still be a risk if it's not established. I'm asking some of the clarifying questions, especially the lot, because setting up a market 3 to 5 days a week at that lot versus only once a week is a difference in commitment from whoever you're asking to be there to set up. So that's why I'm asking some of those questions. So when we go to these growers, if time is a constraint and they only can do 1 Saturday a month, right? I can only commit to 1 Saturday a month, right? Because I can't be off of my farm. Then staffing might become an opportunity. But if you're looking to do a more full-time location out of space, then, then that's, do we support you with staff and then the farmers just dropping off their stuff and selling? So there's a couple different ways we can model some of those things out. And is it that we have a staff that runs the tent so the farmers don't have to be there? We have like a local Homegrown Hillsborough market tent where it's 3 different growers that can just drop their stuff. And part of the grant is that we're going to pay for the staff. And guess what? If you don't sell your stuff, we'll still pay you for it because it's a test. And then we're going to be able to donate it to somewhere in Sulphur Springs that can use it or turn it into food. So understanding those pieces, I think, is really key to learn what the barriers are going to be for the growers. Because doing farmers markets for the last 5 years, the most frustrating part is the time that you go, the harvest, and then you're going home with your harvest.
Yes.
So you just took on a field trip.
Right.
So
And wasted.
And wasted,
as far as the location, I was kind of modeling what Tampa Bay Market does,
Mhm.
kind of bounce.
Yep.
There's no one location they use.
Yeah.
They
Right, absolutely.
literally bounce around the whole city.
Yep.
Right. So rather than bounce around the whole city, just bounce around
Mhm.
my community.
And I think that that's great, but I
Yeah,
think
that's
one of the things that we can look at is maybe we don't have to have a farmer be the vendor, that we can work on someone being staff as,
That'd be even better.
right? Because that time is
Time
That'd be
is-
even
to
better.
come off the farm for a couple of hours, right?
Yeah.
Like I transitioned from doing Saturday markets and I was doing 4 a month, and I would
Wow.
do Sundays, I do
Yeah.
Fridays, and being at a location where I'm on my farm, if somebody comes, like on a Saturday, I'm doing just as much right on the farm.
Yeah.
So understanding that level of commitment, we're going to ask a farmer, hey, every Saturday, can you come? But how do we mitigate that risk for them and make it an economic development? So where the community has access,
Correct.
we're increasing their sales. So maybe the grants for staff, and that's economic development because it's creating a job, right? A sales job and act. So that's kind of why I was thinking it through. And I wanted to make sure, that's why I was asking those questions, is more for the farmers when we go to them and say, hey, can you grow some food for this market? Well, yeah, but I can't be at the market.
Understand what
So-
comes with
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes. And that'd be a piece of find a refrigerated truck that we can maybe do those routes to pick up. For
Yeah, and even coolers,
Yeah.
right? Most of my stuff comes in coolers, right? Tanner delivers it all in buckets and coolers, and this time of year it's cool enough that it maintains its quality because he's harvesting and he hasn't even put it in the cooler. It's harvested and brought to me within 20 minutes, and then I put it in my cooler, which is simply a trailer that I turned into a refrigerator. So it doesn't cost that much to do that, right? You can buy an old, especially if you don't have to move the trailer. If you can leave the trailer and you have a way to plug it in, you can lock it on the site. There's some things that you can do on that lot to make it a little bit easier from a logistics standpoint too.
So we have about
Sorry.
7 minutes. Yeah. I know Monica has her hand up, but we do have to kind of move to the rest.
Yes.
Okay, so Monica, if you want to add something, and then we'll move on.
I was just gonna say I like Nicole's idea about having like a Homegrown Hillsborough brand and then having someone designated, because that also is kind of the prereq to a food hub, right? Like,
Mhm.
and maybe the food hub isn't a Homegrown Hillsborough brand, but it is an aggregator and distributor. And so I think it would be good practice to have, different producers drop off, weigh, write down what they're contributing, have that one person under, for now, the Homegrown Hillsborough brand, tent, all of that, go to the markets, and then, figure out the processes for that. So that was my comment, was that I like where Nicole is about, instead of having SLP and Tampa Heights and Meacham and all these different producers with different tents, different staff, different people, having one unified brand. It'll also mean a lot more like variety and quantity. So, okay, but I'm done. We'll move on to the agenda. This has been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed listening.
Yeah,
Cool.
that totally makes sense. Okay, so because we only have, now 5 minutes left, do you have kind of an idea, like what's your next steps for recruitment? Like
Yeah, I'm going to look at the producer list. So that's my next step. I think look at the producer list because we can filter that and really strategically reach out to a couple extra producers. I don't think we have enough producers on, because if our producers are going to be in the food production, so maybe look at that. I think so. That's my next step, is to identify some more producers to reach out to. And I'm going to.
And if you could add them to that
The list,
recruitment
yes.
list,
Yeah,
just so we know that they
I'll
can
put it on my
talk to them,
Sunday.
talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, do you guys want to put a date on when everyone needs to reach out to them?
Let me look at I want to say like December 23rd, but I know that that's so late, but that's like the only time that I'm, hold on one second.
So this is just our goal to have already reached out to these potential.
I would reach out to them like now, especially because people are excited about the conference, and it's like, get them to give like a soft yes.
Yes, okay, got
like, remember this? Like, we're back. So I just want, if you guys,
that's
just
no
so
problem.
it's easier to tell, Amanda and Elizabeth, and to have a hard deadline for everyone, helps. So, I mean, if you want to say the 23rd, and just, if people need to set their own deadlines before that, you can tell them to do that.
I'm gonna say the 23rd, right? Unfortunately for me, like the days I want to call would be like on Sunday.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's the only, and I'm not trying, I just don't want to overcommit. And I know like this is really important, but I also think of the workload that I have next week, and and then Bay News 9 is coming too, right? So then I was like,
oh,
what? Yeah, so, but I think that week before, that Friday, the 17th, that's where I'm going to block off my time. So if we give it to that Monday, the 22nd.
And if someone wants to be
done.
eager and wants to do it, but I think that's.
Yeah, and I can block some time on Mondays. Yeah. I'll just have my team work the market.
So then, so we'll do that, and then make sure to follow up with an email, and then you guys, I don't know if you want to decide who's going to make a slideshow, or who's going to do what, or however.
I can help with that. Slideshow.
Maybe we have to schedule.
But we should probably get together as
like
a team to like break out. Yeah.
That would be if we can all get together as a team, and you can take on the task of actually like the creating of the slides. I think for me that would be huge.
We have a Homegrown Hillsborough template, so I'll throw a blank one like in the thing, so you can just go from that with at least the design side.
That would be helpful. Yeah.
And when do you have to? When do we want to have the slideshow? When is your due date for us to have the slideshow?
Before the years. Okay. I don't remember if we put. I don't remember. Like, do you remember? Did we want to see it ahead of time?
I kind of think that Dahlia did, but like a few days before. So the 20.
Our meeting date would have been January 8th, right? Because it's an early Thursday month. January 1st is the Thursday. So maybe we try to schedule just a Zoom meeting on January 8th for Acre.
Okay.
I have that blocked on my calendar already.
Okay, perfect.
That's a great idea.
Good idea.
And then we can let Elizabeth and Amanda know that we'll be doing that. Because then we can work through the details, and that gives you a full week to be able to
put it together and
and then talk about, I called this person, they didn't answer, should I call them again, or should I focus on someone else or anything like that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and then of course it's linked to the wrong one second. We'll do our little meeting ratings. And then
Charlie, can I ask you a question? Is there a Boys and Girls Club in Sulphur Springs? There is. Okay. Do you know the director by any chance?
I don't.
Okay.
December is our last meeting in there, right? Okay, so Nicole, 1 through 5, how would you rate participation in today's meeting?
I'm going to say 5. There's a lot of conversation.
Yeah, I agree. 5.
Alright, and achievement, what did we accomplish to get through our agenda?
I'm going to go with a 4. I think we could spend more time on the.
Same 4.
More people focused and mindful.
Yes, I'm going to say 5.
5.
And did we stick to our agenda and use our time wisely?
I'm going to go with a 4 on that as well.
4.
Alright, great. Thank you for this. Anything else you guys want to cover?
No.
Because I know it's kind of off here. We did a lot.
No, I think we're good.
There's more work to
The
be
reason why I
done.
asked about the Boys and Girls Club in Sulphur Springs is we just piloted a really great program at the Lacucci Boys and Girls Club, and it would increase access and production, where all the kids at the club got $10 to shop a farmer's market every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, and that could be something to incorporate for the growers in there as well.
Great idea.
So, perfect.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Awesome.
Online
Thanks,
as well
Monica.
as
Have a
in
good
Great
person.
meeting,
night. Thank you,
guys.
Amanda.
Sorry I couldn't be there in person. See you next year.
Oh my gosh, so crazy.
I know, crazy. Bye, guys. Happy holidays.
Bye. Take